Hey kids, Kid Kakuda. I recently purchased this 2000 Ford F-150 with the Triton V8 4.6 liter. It's a work truck, and Ford makes it for like corporate companies and industrial use, and it's a work truck. Ford makes it with heavy-duty suspension and towing capacity, and heavy-duty leaf springs and stuff like that in it. It's just stripped down base model kind of stuff with the steel wheels and the little center caps, and there's no frills and thrills, but it has AC, but it doesn't have any power windows or door locks. Manual door locks. How to unlock them is you got to pull the handle and it unlocks the door. You unlock it with the switch on the outside. And it's got manual windows. So there's no power accessories on the door at all. There's no power mirrors in the manual. And but like I said, it has AC. It's got an aftermarket radio. It might have came with a base radio, just AM, FM. And it's got no frills at all in the interior. In fact, it has a vinyl seat, bench seat. It doesn't even have the armrest. And it's got the vinyl floor instead of carpeting. Just very basic. The doors are all plastic. There's no pockets on it. There's no inserts or vinyl up here and stuff like that. And there's no running lights or anything in the doors. No accessory lights. It's got the headlight up here that's missing, and it doesn't have any like vanity lights up top. Just a basic truck, work truck. I'm gonna pop the hood. I've had this truck a little over a week. We'll call it 2 weeks. It was a little dirty inside, and I cleaned it up, and I've already dirtied it because I've been working it. I can get a seat out of the local junkyard for $40 to $50, depending on which junkyard I go to, because they sell bucket seats for $25, and some places just sell seats for $25 and count that as a seat and not a bench. So you might be able to get lucky and get one for $25. It's missing the front bumper and stuff. The bumper there's like a valance piece that goes underneath that's missing, and then over here on the cab, on the bed, is dented. It has dings and dents everywhere. I guess I'll show you the truck as I'm shooting the video too. But what I was gonna show is this is the 4.6 liter. What I was gonna show is when you go to buy a car, a used car, a work truck maybe, and kind of want to look it over. Say it's not even at a car lot. It might be sitting in somebody's yard. You kind of just want to give it a quick look over before you purchase it. Again, I've already purchased this one. The deal was too good to be at the time for me to pass up, and I just grabbed it as it was, as is. So I didn't really care about any of the. It was a running driving vehicle. I heard it running. I seen it drive down the road, and the AC was working. So I was like, hey, whatever's wrong with it, I'll deal with it, because I was getting a good deal on it, and it's a work truck, and it could pull my trailer over there. So pull cars home. So this has the 4.6 liter. What you do is, when you look at it, a lot of people don't pop the hood and look at the engine bay, and not really concerned about the engine bay and what it looks like. But you really got to pop the hood and look under here to see what's actually going on. Now, when I got this truck, it had coolant, water. Well, it didn't even have coolant. It had rusty water around the engine bay, which would be signs of evidence of overheating problem. So when I looked inside the cap, it was filled with straight water all the way to the top. Right now this reservoir is empty, meaning that there was water in here and it disappeared. Where'd it go? So now this was a running truck, you know what I'm saying? So there's something's wrong. So what I did was I looked at the truck. Now I cleaned the engine bay, so you're not going to see everything that was on it. and stuff, but the engine on this side of the engine had a lot of rusty water stains, all on the frame, on this plastic, up here on the headliner. You could see some of it over here. So I brought it to the car wash and I sprayed the engine down, because when I get a car, I like to spray it down and look it over after driving it a little while and see where the problems are, because this motor had a leaking valve cover on that gasket. I was told when I bought it, it had a leaking valve cover gasket. It was on the back side of this valve cover was just leaking right to the ground, just a constant drip. Didn't even stop. Blip, 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 blip. And it was going right onto the exhaust, so when you drove down the road, it smoked. You had a little smoke show behind you. So, and it, just at like 20 miles an hour wasn't that bad and stuff, but when you got on it, and it increased the flow of oil onto the exhaust, and then, you'd get the exhaust hot, you had a little smoke show. So, and that's how it was when I drove it home. And, so it needed valve cover gaskets. I went to the auto parts store. They wanted $50, over $50 for the valve cover gasket. I have a discount. My cost was $47, so it was over $50 for the valve cover gaskets. But they came with these little round grommets to go around all the bolts for $50. Well, I just bought the truck. I had to buy a battery for the truck. This was a brand new battery that I bought that was an additional cost to me. So at the time, I didn't feel like throwing another $50 into it, and the cheap valve cover gasket itself was only $27. So my cost. So I bought the valve cover gasket, and I put this side in first. It stopped it from leaking. The truck drove fine. Then this side started leaking. Now, I was going to change the side because they come in a pair. You might as well just change them both out. They were put on at the same time. They're probably going to go out on the same time. So I was going to change this anyways, and now this side was leaking. I changed this side out with the front of mine. Still leaks more on this side than that side because of the grommets. Now, I told you it was $50, like around my cost, for the valve covers with the grommets. I paid $30 for this, $27 for the valve cover. Well, I went online just looking for the grommets because the auto parts store said they didn't sell them. They do sell the grommets. Pro sells them. I think the part number was ES78911, and I'm remembering this from a week ago. So, and it costs roughly around $10 wherever you buy them. So I'm going to buy those, and that'll be the next thing I do is replace the grommets. I did an oil change on the truck since I've owned it, and I accidentally left the oil cap sitting somewhere, I guess, and lost it, because I did have it when I bought the truck. Talking about oil, I did an oil change on it, and after I did the oil change, I heard a little tapping noise. It wasn't there when I first got the truck, but after I changed the oil, there was a tapping in the engine. So I changed the oil again, but I didn't have enough oil. So now the truck, when you look at the stick, I left the rag in the truck, but it's at minimum. It's not in the hatches, so it needs a couple quarts. It's like 2 quarts low. When I got the oil the second time, I left the old filter in there and bought a gallon of oil and just poured a gallon in there. Well, it was not really a gallon, it's 5 liters, I think it is. And I poured that in there. Like I said, the grommet's just leaking, so. But the truck's driving a lot better. It was running a little hot, and I didn't see any coolant leaking anywhere, and it wasn't overflowing. It wasn't overheating, overflowing. The radiator wasn't or nothing like that, and it wasn't steaming or anything. It wasn't smoking. It was just running hot in the cab. I'd have the AC on full blast, and the AC would die down, and I would look at the gauge and notice the gauge is like a quarter away from the red, from the danger zone. So I turned around and I took out the thermostat gasket. It's actually on this side. I mean the thermostat. I took it out and I cut it. Right here. Oh, there it is. So I took that out and I cut it. It's real easy to get to and stuff. I cut the inside of the piece that goes up and down with the springs. I cut that out and put back just the circle disc with the gasket. There'll be a void if I took it out. There'd be a space and it might overheat that way. So I put it back in there with nothing in it, just straight flow. The jerk still stays there hot, so I wasn't too sure what's going on. So I bought one of those coolant flushes, and I dumped it inside my bottle, topped it off, and I ran it like that for a couple of days. Then I took the hose and I ran the truck for over a half hour with the hose running inside the truck just idling away. Sometimes I'd rev it and it overflowed. Rusty water came out because I didn't use coolant, I used water. Now the truck reads halfway. AC stays cold and you can drive all day. Fix that. You see I put some terminals on. A buddy of mine helped me put these terminals on when I bought the battery. And he put the terminal pieces upside down. So he put them upward so you could slip the cable in. Well, if you do it upward, you're making a little roundness for the cable to slip back out. A little slot for it to slip it out. When you put it downward, it crushes the cable in there as you tighten down so it doesn't slip out. Just wanted to tell people that. So I took my belt off. The belt is brand new on the truck, so isn't the alternator. So I took the belt off and I checked the water pump. I spun it around, listened for any grinding noises, tried to see if there was any wiggle in the bearing in it and stuff, and I didn't hear anything. But I do suspect I might have a water pump problem because these Fords are known for the fins to rot away on the back of the water pump. So the bearing and everything will be fine, and it will be spinning fine, and there'll be no leaking coming from the water pump, and there's a weak hole on it that will leak water out. Supposedly when it's bad, the bearing or something like that will wear it away and the water will flow out or something like that. But the fins rot away on the backside, so there's really no clue other than your truck is overheating. You don't know why. It's probably be the fins. Say like if when you stop and go, your temperature's going up and down and stuff like that. That might be a reason for the fins that had rotted away or whatever like that. That's what you would look for. If your heat was going up and down, you'd say, oh, maybe my water pump's bad. The back of the fins might have rotted away. Okay, so I'm gonna end up changing that. That's like $50. So I'll take it off. I'll look at it. If it's bad, I'll go get one. $40, $50 brand new. Lifetime warranty. Coils. The truck, see this front one, the coil's all wobbly and stuff. Well, the one in the back was missing a screw and it was all wobbly and it kind of come off sometimes, and then the truck would go, have a little shake to it. So I took the screw, because I didn't have any screw that would go in there. I took the bolt from the front and put it to the back, because the back one was kind of hard to get to. Now I can reach this one fine and wiggle it around. When I go to the junkyard, I'll grab that bolt. Talking about bolts, the two alternator bolts, after it was replaced on the bottom, are missing. So I have to grab two of those bolts too. So, there's some of the things. Some people check the air cleaner and stuff like that. See if the air cleaner's clean. You kind of check on the alternator. If the truck is running, vehicle is running, you can disconnect the battery. If the truck stays running, then the alternator is charging the system and the truck is running on the alternator. You plug the battery up. I suppose some people have told me you can't do that to all vehicles because the computer robs power from the battery and stuff, but most of the time it works. I really can't recall a time when it didn't tell me the truth, when I disconnected the battery and the alternator didn't charge the system and would shut the vehicle off, then the alternator was bad, in my opinion. I first washed the motor down, like I said. Been driving it for a couple of days, and I've been kind of like rolling around the truck and looking underneath for leaks anywhere, any coolant leaks, any power steering fluid leaks from the hoses and under the reservoir and stuff, and including the brake reservoir, looking at all the little rings underneath to see if anything's leaking or around this master cylinder going to the booster and stuff. And just all the hoses and everything like that, and going around and you're just looking for any kind of wetness marks or anything where the dust is collecting, because it will find the dust will collect go for the moisture and just collect it. We're kind of looking at stuff around and stuff, any of these reservoirs, to see if any of the reservoirs are leaking anything or stuff. And everything looks good right now. I know the grommets are leaking, so I get some leakage on the valve cover in the back. And you know, when I was experiencing some of these problems with it overheating and stuff, one of the things I checked was the PVC valve on the valve cover. I took it out and shook it to see if it was working, because it gets vacuum from the engine into the intake and stuff like that. And if it's clogged, it will cause moisture inside the intake, and it would come up inside and make your engine steam inside. Will collect inside where your oil cap goes, and it'll get all creamy, making you think that you got a blown head gasket, and all it is a little couple of dollar PVC valve. So that was something I wanted to check out too, because if I was building steam inside here, that would make the engine run hot. So just a couple of things. You know, if you're having issues with your coolant system and overheating and stuff, you want to walk back to the back of your tailpipe and look for any rusty residue coming out, like rusty water coming out of your tailpipe, or evidence of water pouring out of your tailpipe. You want to smell it for any kind of coolant and stuff like that. And when you're smelling, you can smell for rich fuel too, to see if, is it running rich? Is it running lean? Looking at your carbon buildup, how black it is and stuff. This truck runs really good. I had the little coolant problem when I did the coolant flush and stuff like that. The overheating problem went away. We're not really overheating, it just ran hot. And now she blows cold and I can drive all day. It's a nice truck, and I'm just going to fix these little oily leaks and probably go get me a seat with the armrest. I have my Harley-Davidson project over there with a supercharged 5.4 motor with the Harley-Davidson interior and wheels. They'll go right on this truck. A lot of my friends are telling me, oh, put those rims and tires on this truck and put your interior in the truck. And I'm like, no, this is a work truck. You can bang it up and not care. I could take something and throw it in the back and not care. It's a work truck. But I will probably end up getting a bench seat with the armrest just for comfort, with some like cup holders. Because that cup holder thing slides in and it sticks, and I got to use a screwdriver to pull it out because it just locks in. There was a sticker on the dashboard. I peeled the sticker off and the paint came off with it. There were some stickers on the back window that I peeled off too, because I don't really like representing anything, to tell you the truth, unless something I really, really like. And you know, boating's cool, but Nautica on the back of the window, I just didn't want to ride around with it. And when I go to the junkyard, I'll get this part right here. Cape Cod Cuda signing out. Thanks for watching. My dog is barking at the neighbor's little dog, so I gotta go. Bye.